When arrogance tries to erase experience, the backbone of truth always finds its way back. He didn't seek revenge through anger, but through precision, data, and loyalty to what's right. I'm Chris Holden, 52, head of logistics. Until the morning they called it a celebration. They called it the Great Merger. 2 logos fused into one on the biggest screen in the building. The paint on the walls was still wet. The projector hummed louder than the people in their chairs. Rows of employees wearing the same smile, the kind that shows obedience, not excitement. You can tell how stable a company is by how long its applause lasts. That morning, it lasted 11 seconds. The CEO stood under the lights, a man who thought confidence was volume. "We're entering a new era of innovation," he said. "New structure, new energy, new leadership." He paused like punctuation was a luxury. 3 slides flashed behind him. Integration, synergy, speed, corporate poetry for a slow disaster. Then he turned, with the kind of smile that means the next sentence is a knife I'm thrilled to introduce. Evan Pierce, Vice President of Operations for the newly merged entity. He'll be overseeing logistics moving forward. The click of a microphone. Being placed back on the stand sounded louder than the applause that followed. I didn't move. I just watched his mouth form the word overseeing. Then he looked at me. "Chris, we appreciate your long-term contributions, but it's time to modernize the system." That's how they end a career in one sentence, by adding a comma before the word but. I stood there with my briefcase in hand. Black leather, 17 years of freight data, supplier contracts, and midnight checklists trapped in its seams. Someone in the back coughed. Someone else pretended to clap again. No one met my eyes. They didn't fire me. That would have required honesty. They transitioned me. A side office, 3rd floor, view of the parking lot. 1 desk, 1 phone. 1 purpose, to be visible proof that loyalty isn't contagious. For 17 years, I'd moved freight through 12 distribution centers across 4 states. We handled $1.8 billion a quarter. The new guy wanted faster. He wanted dashboards. He wanted what he called real-time insight, which in logistics usually means real-time collapse. Evan was 36. Sharp suit, white teeth, a LinkedIn headline that looked like a TED Talk. Title: he called himself a disruptor. That's what people call themselves before they realize they've disrupted the wrong thing. Replaced 3 regional leads. Merged. The Dallas and Phoenix teams cut overtime by 30%, moved dispatch planning to an automated decision. Core. The algorithm couldn't tell the difference between a driver sleeping and a driver stranded, but it looked beautiful in a presentation. The first month was chaos disguised as progress. Trucks left with empty pallets because the new system measured dispatch success rate, not load completion. Drivers clocked out while shipments waited. The optimization engine rerouted refrigerated freight through desert states to reduce total mileage. Numbers don't sweat. Ice cream does. Evan's report still glowed blue and green, bar charts that looked like recovery, except for the part where we were dying. One afternoon, he called me into his office. Glass walls, chrome desk, not a single paper in sight. "Chris, I need your input on this dashboard migration." "You mean the one replacing field validation?" "Exactly. The AI handles it now. We're eliminating redundancy." I looked at the monitor. 3 screens, 6 tabs, no field data. "You've eliminated redundancy by eliminating reality," I said. He laughed like I'd complimented him. "That's legacy thinking." Legacy thinking. His favorite phrase. He didn't know that his entire system still ran on scripts I wrote back when people still used FTP manually. He thought the cloud was magic. I knew it was just someone else's computer. Week 5. The first major failure hit. An automated dispatch sent 21 trucks to the wrong hub, 400 miles off route. Fuel losses. $63,000 refunds, $280,000 client trust. Unmeasurable, Evan blamed legacy configurations, which meant me. An email went out. Due to system misalignment, prior operational frameworks have caused loss exposure. It didn't say my name, it didn't have to. Rumor spreads faster than data. By the end of the week, people stopped asking if I wanted coffee. They stopped saying good morning. Silence is how companies isolate infection. I didn't argue. I watched. Observation is free, and it leaves fingerprints on no one. Late one Thursday, I saw Zoe from Analytics still at her desk. 24. Smart, underpaid. Still believed systems were built by good intentions. She hesitated before knocking. Mr. Holden, I found something weird. She turned her tablet toward me. SmartFlow, Evan's new system. She scrolled to a data model labeled Holden Template 2018.xlsm. I didn't react. I just leaned closer. There it was. A hidden cell comment, a breadcrumb I'd left 5 years ago. CHL Original Path Verification. Do not remove. He hadn't removed it. He hadn't even seen it. That's the difference between using a system and understanding it. I started collecting evidence quietly. File metadata, server logs, email timestamps that matched rollout failures. Every record lined up like dominoes pretending to be independent. 4 nights later, I had a folder full of truth and one email draft waiting for a name in the to line. At 2:17 a.m., I typed it. Margaret Wright aboard. int subject. Breach of integrity. Immediate review recommended. Then I hit send. The boardroom was a tomb dressed like a conference. Evan stood by the projector, explaining losses with the confidence of a man who'd already written his apology in PowerPoint. SmartFlow has reduced manual dependency by 70%, he said. And profitability? Margaret asked, still stabilizing, but trend lines are positive. Which trend lines? She asked. He clicked through another chart, smiling like color could hide arithmetic. Then she turned to me. Mr. Holden, you've been here longer than any of us. Thoughts? I opened my briefcase, unlatched the folder, and slid 2 printouts across the table. Side by side, his SmartFlow and my 2018 framework. Identical logic. The 2 identical formulas. Even the same typo in cell C47. You can verify metadata, I said. He didn't innovate. He renamed. Silence. The kind of silence that feels like oxygen being counted. Margaret leaned back. If we removed SmartFlow, could you sustain operations? Not only can I said. I already did. For 17 years, she nodded once. Effective immediately. Evan blinked. No one clapped. That's how you know justice is working. No one enjoys it. Chuang Ti Ding Duan. The Monday after the board meeting, the building sounded different. You notice it when silence shifts, like an engine that used to cough, finally running smooth. They called me interim consultant. That's corporate language for we need you back. But we can't say you were right. I didn't care about the title. Titles attract noise. Access is what matters. And my badge still worked. The first thing I did wasn't open an email. I drove straight to the Dallas warehouse. 6 a.m. The air smelled like dust and oil. A smell most executives think is below their pay. Grade, the floor supervisor, Ray, froze when he saw me. Heard you were out. I was, I said. Now I'm not, he nodded once, then pointed at a stack of forms. Systems. Been assigning wrong bay slots. Since the merger. I looked at the sheet. Numbers. Out of alignment by a few decimal points. Small errors that become huge when they repeat 10,000 times. That's how logistics fails. Not with explosions, but decimals. Don't fix it yet, I said. Why not? I need the pattern to prove itself. He grinned. Still playing chess, huh? Only game worth the pieces, I said. Over the next 2 weeks, I visited every hub. Dallas, Tulsa, Phoenix, El Paso, Baton Rouge, 5 states, 12 warehouses. Each one ran on a system that pretended to be new. Smart Flow was everywhere. Like bad paint on good wood, the dashboards looked modern, but underneath they were bleeding the same data twice. Zoe traveled with me. She carried a laptop, 3 external drives, and more common sense than most people twice her age. We built a mirror system, an internal log parser that tracked both what SmartFlow showed and what it hid. Every discrepancy was logged, time-stamped, cross-referenced. By day 7, we had 842 anomalies. By day 12, 1,376. By day 15, enough to write a report that could bankrupt a vendor. But I didn't send it yet. You never move when the floor still trembles. Instead, I built stability first. We reinstated manual cross-checks, something Evan had called antiquated redundancy. To me, it was discipline disguised as caution. Each dispatch needed dual confirmation. One from logistics software, one from a human who could read a map without Wi-Fi. It slowed things down for 2 weeks, then it made everything faster, because precision eliminates rework. By week 3, the metrics began to heal, error rate down to 0.9%, average detention time down from 3.2 hours to 54 minutes. Fuel efficiency up 17%, refund. Claims dropped 81%. The numbers didn't surprise me. Systems always tell the truth once you stop asking them to lie, Margaret called one morning. Chris, the board's seeing positive movement. You've stabilized things. I didn't stabilize anything, I said. I stopped people from making it worse, she chuckled. The quiet kind that doesn't waste oxygen. You still don't take credit. Credit doesn't move freight, I said. She paused. Then, corporate wants an audit in 3 months. Transparency. They want you to cooperate. I'll do more than cooperate, I said. I'll give them something they can't argue with. Audits don't scare me. They're just mirrors, and mirrors are only dangerous to people who hate what they see. So we prepared. I told Zoe, we're not defending ourselves. We're documenting precision. She smiled. Then let's make it bulletproof. We worked nights, logs, metrics, vendor invoices, GPS pings, every data point cross-validated. We set up a new structure, proof of execution chain. Each shipment created its own self-contained audit file. Route plan, confirmation, deviation report, closure, sign-off, immutable, time-stamped, encrypted, a digital truth that no PowerPoint could out-talk. There's a sound you hear when systems start behaving again. It's not silence. It's alignment. The warehouse hum evens out. Forklifts move in. Rhythm. Trucks. Idle. Steady. Printers stop. Jamming. It's the sound of competence. Mechanical. Harmony. Even the night shift crews started talking again. One of them left a sticky note on my desk. Feels like the old days. Don't let them ruin it again. Signed, Shift CI kept it inside my briefcase. Paper is the only loyalty that doesn't get promoted away. Then came the politics. They always arrive. When the fires die down, an email from corporate strategy. Concerns regarding concentration of influence within operations, meaning they didn't like that I had control. They'd rather have chaos they could manage than order they couldn't own, Magarin. Called. Ignore them, she said. Results speak louder. Results whisper, I said. Politics shouts. She laughed softly. Just keep the numbers perfect. So I did, because in a company like this, truth isn't enough. It has to be undeniable. One night around 2:40 a.m., Zoe messaged me. You still there? Always, I replied. Then look outside. I looked down from the mezzanine. 10 trucks lined in perfect symmetry, headlights glowing in sequence, their engines idled in a single rhythm, a heartbeat made of diesel, no voice, no music, just mechanical proof of order returning. That's the moment I knew we'd won the first battle. Not against people. Against noise. 3 months later, the audit date arrived. 6 auditors, 3 days, 20 binders of documentation, and behind them, watching everything, Evan Pierce. He'd been hired by the audit firm as a process consultant. Poetic, if you like irony written in company policy. I didn't greet him. I didn't need to. Recognition is a privilege earned by relevance. The audit began at 8 a.m. sharp. Robert Vale, senior auditor, wore a gray suit so pressed it looked engineered. He opened his folder. Mr. Holden, your reports claim a 99.2% uptime across all 12 warehouses. That's exceptional. It's standard, I said. He raised an eyebrow. You understand that if these numbers don't verify, this will go badly for you. Then verify them. He frowned. Then he did. We ran random route checks. Dallas to Lubbock, Phoenix to Santa Fe, Baton Rouge to Houston. Every log matched, every deviation explained, documented, signed. Vale didn't speak for 2 hours. Then, I've audited for 20 years, he said finally. Never seen data this clean. That's because most people clean data, I replied. We clean process. Evan looked like a man trying to remember what humility costs. When the audit ended, Vale closed his laptop and said quietly, You don't run logistics. You run certainty. I didn't respond. Praise is a temporary currency, but proof is forever. The official report landed 2 weeks later. True Flow System approved as model of operational integrity. Margaret sent one line. Congratulations. The board's unanimous. I sent one back. Not a victory. Just gravity working again that night. I walked the warehouse alone. The machines hummed, lights flickered in steady intervals. The air smelled like clean steel. I paused by truck number 14, the one that used to break down every second week before the merger. Its brass tag was polished to a soft glow. I ran my hand across it. Still on time, I whispered, Trong Ti Di Duan after the audit. The building fell into a kind of stillness only companies achieve when fear and relief mix evenly. No one congratulated me directly. They nodded in hallways, sent emails with no subject lines. Praise in corporate language always hides behind plausible deniability. By Friday, the internal memo hit. TrueFlow approved as company standard, model of operational integrity. It came with a short signature block, authorized by board chair Margaret Wright. Nothing else. No names. No press release. No innovation summit. Just a statement of fact, which in my world is the highest form of compliment. Monday. 6:45 a.m. The office smelled like disinfectant and new ink. That's how you know things have survived. Zoe stood by the main console, coffee in one hand, clipboard in the other. Everything's green, she said. Keep it that way. She smiled. The tired kind earned by precision. When was the last time we had 0 deviation for an entire quarter? Never, I said. Until now. She looked proud, but she didn't say it. That's how you know she'll last. At 08 Radio, I got a message from the front. Desk, Mr. Pierce is here to see you. I almost laughed. The building still let him in. Even ghosts need visitor badges. He walked in wearing humility like an ill-fitting jacket, eyes slightly lowered, suit wrinkled in places that used to be pressed. Chris. Evan. The air between us was efficient. I wanted to thank you. For what? For not making it worse. It didn't need help. He exhaled. I've been consulting for the audit firm. They're using your framework as a benchmark. I know, he smiled faintly. You're not angry? Anger's inefficient. He nodded, then looked around. His gaze fell on the bonsai near the window. You keep plants now? Only the ones that survive neglect. Silence. He understood the metaphor, but not the lesson. You know, he said, I didn't mean for any of that to happen. That's the problem, I said. You didn't mean for anything to happen. You just let it, he blinked once. That's what realization looks like when pride still resists it. You won, he said. No, I said. The system did. He left without shaking hands. Reconciliation isn't part of logistics. After he was gone, I drafted a memo, not a victory lap, a declaration of structure. Subject: Operational Charter, Final Revision. Clarity over complexity. Integrity over ego. Continuity over credit. Every number has a witness. No signature. Just the word implemented. Zoe asked, Shouldn't you sign it? If people only follow rules with names attached, I said, they're not rules. Within a week, people quoted it in meetings. Someone printed it and pinned it next to the coffee machine. Someone else wrote it on a whiteboard in dispatch. That's how you know order has taken root. When repetition becomes instinct, Margaret visited a week later. No entourage. No cameras. Just her heels echoing on the concrete. You've done more in 3 months than some departments do in 3 years, she said. That's because most departments spend 2 of those years explaining why they can't, she smirked, the closest she ever came to. Affection. The board approved your global directive. You'll oversee multi-region logistics moving forward. Titles again, I said, just access. You've earned that much. Then make it clean. It already is. She handed me a brass nameplate, heavier than necessary. Chris Holden, Operations Director, Global. I looked at it. Then set it on the desk, face down. Keep it. I work better without introductions. She didn't argue. She didn't need to. By month 6, the system had stabilized to the point of boredom. That's when you know it's healthy. Smart Flow was gone. True Flow ran across 4 time zones. Every warehouse used synchronized routing, verified by timestamp and human check. Downtime: 0.4%. Refunds: negligible. Employee turnover: down 37%. No one noticed. That's the point. Competence is invisible by design, but even peace needs maintenance. Late one night, while checking logs, I noticed something unusual. A silent spike in data access from an external IP, protocol 1409, internal archive breach attempt. I traced it, vendor network. Deactivated credentials. Pierce.I didn't escalate. I archived the evidence. 2 screenshots. Timestamp. Forwarded to Margaret with 1 sentence. Old habits don't die. They just log in, she replied 6 minutes later. Handled. That's all I needed. A week later, the security division confirmed Pierce had been removed from the audit firm's roster. No press, no lawsuit, just deletion, the cleanest revenge there is. Back at headquarters, a shipment rolled in late one evening. Final test batch for the TrueFlow redundancy project. 12 trucks, 1 from each region. Everyone arrived within a 5-minute window. The floor crews stood silent, watching the clock tick to 23 Huerker exactly. Then the last truck, number 14, parked, engine idling smooth, brass tag shining under the loading bay light. Zoe walked up beside me. We did it, she said. No, I said. We recalibrated it. She smiled. You're impossible to impress. That's why this place still works. She looked at the briefcase in my hand. You still carry that old thing? It's seen more integrity than most executives. At 2312, I locked the system, logged the day's metrics, and shut the lights. The building hummed like a machine that finally trusted its operator again. I passed by truck number 14 once more, ran my hand across the brass tag and whispered, "Still on time." Then I drove home. The highway was empty, lines glowing white under streetlights, steady as heartbeat. At home, the bonsai waited by the window. The soil was dry. I'd been too busy to water it for a week. Still, it held green. I took the brass tag from my briefcase, pressed it into the soil near the roots. Steel and life. Motion and stillness. A system that doesn't need to speak to prove it's alive. A week after the audit report was filed, things went quiet. The kind of quiet you earn, not inherit. Emails came slower, calls shorter. No more urgent flags, just work moving through the veins of the company the way it should. Steady, invisible, precise. That's what people don't understand about logistics. It's not about movement, it's about control of time. If time bends for you, everything else follows. That's not power, that's discipline. Every morning now, I arrive before the lights warm up. The hallways glow blue from the early monitors, fans whirring like distant turbines, coffee machine clicking in rhythm with the elevator hum. All these small sounds, the background score of competence. I check dashboards, scan the anomaly reports, sign off shipments. Nothing exciting, that's the point. People think revenge ends with applause. But applause fades. Real revenge is silence, the kind that proves you outlived their noise. Sometimes, when Zoe walks by, she jokes, "When do you plan to take a vacation?" When things stop moving, "That'll never happen." "Exactly." She laughs, then goes back to work. Calm? Sure, quietly brilliant. I never tell her. But she reminds me of myself before I mistook loyalty for armor. At the year-end meeting, Margaret stood in front of the board again. She didn't mention me by name. She didn't have to. She just said, "TrueFlow is now the operational spine of this company. It has no single creator, but one clear origin. Accountability." They applauded, a full 21 seconds this time. Longer than before. It meant something different now. When it was over, I walked out of the building into the dusk. The air smelled like diesel and rain. Trucks idled in formation, their lights blinking in slow, synchronized rhythm, like a fleet breathing in unison. I rested the briefcase on the hood of my car and watched as the last shipment of the fiscal year rolled out. 12 trucks, 12 regions, perfect timing, perfect order. Then, as if on cue, the bonsai appeared in the corner of my mind, the same one waiting by my window at home. Rooted, small, alive. Proof that growth doesn't have to be loud. I drove home under a half-moon sky, headlights sweeping over empty asphalt. No music, just the low hum of the engine, steady as thought. When I reached home, the house was dark except for the light by the window. The bonsai stood there, still holding its green. I placed the briefcase on the table, opened it, and pulled out one final document, operational charter, original copy. I folded it once, slid it under the bonsai pot, and whispered, "Everything runs smoother when no one's trying to own it." Then I poured water over the soil, slow, measured, enough. The brass tag in the soil caught the light. Faint, gold, quiet, engraved on it. Truck 14, still on time. That's when I realized something simple. Revenge doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes it's preservation, the clean kind, the one that rebuilds what arrogance tried to erase. I closed the window, sat back, and watched the city lights flicker like dashboards across the skyline. Each one a small promise that systems can be honest again, if someone's willing to make them. Justice doesn't always wear a robe. Sometimes it wears a tie. This has been the Office Revenge Diaries, where every quiet victory leaves a louder echo. If you've ever been replaced, erased, or underestimated, remember, precision is the best revenge. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next story.